I was so hoping in the middle of the project I wanted to do a little demo.
That's because I put it in the
Yeah, it's like this.
Yeah, the assignment, usually not really there.
I'd love to see those videos, that'd be great. So, thank you very much. I'm very busy, so we'll work away. Like I said, if you're so busy, I would gladly drive your house with a like external drive and copy them.
No, I
Whatever is
can,
most convenient.
I can get it to you one way or another, because emails probably, it'll be a huge attachment.
Yeah,
Most.
usendit.com. Really, love it. I'll write it down for you.
Now, how do you send it? Is that you or
Yeah.
why will you?
Yeah, why we?
Why will you send it?
Yeah.
That was it, I mean, you got in, you send it.
Yeah, because you can go there and sign up for a free account or whatever.
Okay.
I think, or they don't ask you to send a second file or something, but it's very easy. And then you just upload it through the browser.
Yeah, it's because I saved
Very
the wrong name.
Yeah.
It's
If all goes well, we'll get it tonight.
awesome.
I've got a blank one and then, you know, go back to
Whenever
that.
it's fine, I look forward to it.
So John, what's on? No, so many of them. Yeah, that's what I thought, but. I know. I have, just
All right, just got to start licensing and you should be good to go.
Oh, cool. Oh, cool. Where is it?
Scarborough Timber Buildings.
Oh, cool.
Near, Toronto?
Yep, yep.
So you know Birchmount? Okay, Kennedy.
Okay.
Kennedy, towards the lake, near Danforth Road.
Yeah.
Kingston Road, Danforth Ave type, almost down to the lake, or a little north of that. Birchmount is between, Worthington.
Oh, okay.
That's familiar.
All right,
So I'll be
I'm good now.
Yeah.
Has anybody announced this?
No, I think it'd be a good idea to announce it now. Hold off on your demonstration for about 1 minute here.
Okay.
That's fine. Congratulations.
We've got away with my patch quick.
So
I brought it for the RCA things on me, but they don't need them for these. He threw it over there and we picked up all his wires. I think it's gone. I won't be able to hear stuff at home.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get started. Hello, everybody. Name is Ray. Just want to show you a tool that we're using to, internal dev tool to make our game maps for a game called Crimson Twilight. We had the need to make this map on a PC. It was kind of hard to group these maps together in a larger scale. The only way it could be done, you know, and get images on the PC for screenshots and stuff was to open about 10 MS Paint windows and stitch them together. So this started out being a map viewer, but then turned into being a map editor. All right. So here's the main window. This is our data map area. Here's our tiles. So let's just do a sample presentation here. Just gonna clear out the screen. And we'll just draw like a little town. Let's color some grass here. And we're gonna randomize the ground tiles a little bit. There. imagine doing that by hand, you know, just, it never looks the same, you know, when it's random. Alright? So here, make a nice wall. Highlight more than one tile, put it down. The mouse is a little shaky. Add on the door. So that, you know, that's, there you go, you have the little house, so. Obviously, there's other things you can do here. There's, you can change the palette colors. You could edit the tiles internally here. So we can, you know, can invert, rotate. Obviously, that doesn't help on that one. Let's try this one. Add some tiles here. You could change the colors by clicking on the tile, then clicking on the color. You can shift, or some call it push. Can mirror the images different ways. Over here in the information section, you can load a complete project. So instead of loading a map, tiles, colors, because there's a separate file for each color of these tiles. That can be done by one load. The menu items here show your last 5 items used. Let me just go down to file types. This a data map is the map itself. The type is the data information on the map itself, like rock walls and that kind of stuff. So impassables, walkable tiles. Tile set is obviously this window down here. And CMap is the color map for that corresponds to this tiles. You can also, a little tool we have here is, you know, when you're making these types of games and you're using a character set, sometimes you run out of space. And you want to make sure that what you're creating, you're using. So what we made is this identified tiles used. Gives me an outline of which ones I use. So for the ones that I don't normally use, I can probably get rid of and replace it with something else. There. And then one of the main reasons was we can create a bitmap image. Save it to the desktop. And then that's about the whole size of the map. We only sold this little window. So originally in Paint, like I said before, we'd have to stitch each one. Copy a little piece, stitch it together. A little bit easier to show people how the game's progressing when you have a nice screenshot. Alright, let's see what else we got here. We have a zoom in the main window. That way, yourself, you're working on a bigger map and you want to see it, you know, exactly where you are. You can zoom it down here yourself. Just double click to open it back up. And some of the settings that we have is tile border color. I can show you data types. Here's the default projects and files if you want to load up. So say you're working on a certain set of tiles that you always use, you can just load them in here. It'll come up every time for you. Also over here we have random fill. We have a weight system. So depending on, you know, which 3 tiles you pick, obviously here, tile 3 will only be used 5% of the time. Okay, I'll show you data type mode. Okay, in data type mode, this is where we specify walkable, unwalkable item types. So let's just see, door locked. We're just gonna imagine this one locked, so. Obviously this is a wall. So this will just help when you're building your game. This is more or less the overlay for the game. So now if we had a character, he can go, you know, if the door was open, he can go through the door and he can walk around here, but he's blocked by all these areas. Maybe we can have these bookshelves searchable. So we would do something like that. That just helps, that's a little overlay to help you with your game making. And these are fully customizable. You could take, you know, trap, you just right click on it and say, I just like, say it's a hole now. That's it. And you can save these data types. You could save the data type file, which is a one-to-one overlay, like I mentioned. All right, now let's close this window out. I have one other item here that maybe some of you guys could somewhat figure out what it looks like. Anybody know what that looks like? Any idea?
Mario?
Yep. So, you know, there's different types of games. This is a side scroll, the other one was a top down. So then here's a little demo. So just wanted to show you, you know, this is it. Obviously none of the data type part is not put in there, so you know you can go through walls right now, but that's Mario. Alright, and then just wanted to do a couple screenshots for you. Show you what some of the stuff looks like. Obviously there's some game maps, some, you know, stuff that we created for testing. That's like a, you know, sample morph. This, if everybody knows what this is, let me go back. The hotel in Chicago that you stay at. Made that for a demo this year because last year we had a little incident where the cops were present, so. Another map, lighthouse map. Another game map. Just like a mountain map. Underground crypt. Another Mario type, Super Mario Brothers. A game called Havoc from Arcanix Labs. Also wanted to say, let me just go back to this one. This one, Cartograph, you can always use to mock up screens. So this would be our mock up, you know, to help you lay out your screens. Here's another one. Helps you get everything centered, you know, to figure out how it looks before actually putting all your work into, you know, trying to get it to show. And then there's another Mario one. This is a multicolor Mario, tiled up. All right, there's another map. One more. Okay, and that's the last one. Also wanted to, there's a Pac-Man type tile set. And this one here is another one that people might remember. This is from Zelda 2. This is like a Zelda 2 map. Alright. And then in here, I just wanted to show one more thing. Put this out. So we're here, say I loaded in the project, all the files are there, and say you're making your screens, you could just say, sorry, the mouse. Yeah, sorry about that, but that's the mouse giving me problems because it's bouncing back. But you can just type it onto the screen and save it as well. So even if you want to just create a simple screen for pictures or something like that, you can just, type normally on here and it should put it down, see? Although my mouse keeps bouncing back, so. And you can move around with the arrow keys, just as long as you don't move your mouse, then it'll snap back to where it was. You can also, one item I forgot, say you have an area that you like to repeat all the time, you can grab a part of it, hit control, and then you have it's like a copy buffer, you can repaste it, so you don't have to keep doing the same thing over and over again. If I want to move this whole thing, I can move this whole thing if I need to. Which helps us for, certain game areas, like I said, you're repeating, it's a little bit easier. Alright, undo that. We can also do that with the tiles. Say we have this bear rug. So I highlight here and then say I'm going to get rid of this maybe targeting system. I just control left click, puts it right back. So, you might find out that you want to move your tiles around, so this is, helps you editing your tiles a little bit better too. Alright, and I think that's it. I brought in some free samples if anybody wants to take some. They're here on the front table. So, thank you for checking it out.
Free sample. Oh, okay.